All right, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of our financial intelligence classes. Now, if you are below 45 years of age, if you are below 45 years of age, if you are below 45 years of age, and in most cases, it's a group of, let's say, 20 to 45 years. 20 to 45 years. This one is the current generation that is forming this particular group. It's quite a lot of people, and 20 to 45 years of age. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this age group, it's because there are three things or three great assets. Let me call them assets. There are three assets or resources. There are three assets or resources that are available to you if you are aged between 20 years and 45 years. There are three assets or resources that are readily available to you, and most probably most of them you are not seeing, but they are available to you for utilization to make sure that you have a very good financial path. And in this particular video, I'm going to tell you what are these three great assets or resources that are available to you. You are not utilizing them the way they are supposed to be utilized. You are underutilizing them, and therefore you should now start becoming serious on how you're supposed to monetize these particular assets or resources so that you can have a good financial path, or you can achieve that dream of financial freedom. So ladies and gentlemen, I suggest that you watch this video up to the end. And therefore, this is another reason that you should always stay subscribed in this particular channel, because this is the kind of information that we normally bring to you. Now, let's get to the business of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, these great assets, or these three great assets, are as follows. Number one is time. Number two is we are talking about information. We are talking about information. And number three is strength. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are aged between 20 to 45 years, you have time. You still have a lot of time, especially those who are 20s and 30s. You have a lot of time. Now, if you are aged between 20 to 45 years, again, you have information. You have been brought up on an environment whereby you have a lot of information you can access from internet, and so on and so on. And if you are the same age group or age gap, you have strength. You are not old. You still have strength to work, strength to think, and so on and so on. Now, I'm going to explain these ones little by little so that you can understand how they normally affect, or how you can utilize them to make sure that you achieve the financial goal that we are talking about. Now, when you have time to do research. You have time to do research. Remember, before you do any investment, before you do a business, before you do anything that deals with money, you need to do research. If you are old, for example, if a person is aged 70 years, 75 years, in most cases you'll feel the pressure of, I don't have time to do this particular thing. I don't have time to give I don't have time to give myself maybe the 2 years or 3 years that you are talking about. I don't have that time. I'm already old. My ears are telling me that this is something that I could have done when I was young. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, when you are that particular age, you have time to do research. Look at the people who are talking about Forex, and so on and so on. It is something that normally needs time to study. 3, 4 years, 5 years for you to become at least skilled in that particular area. But someone who is aged 70 years, they can say, oh, I don't have time to do that. I think this one suits better to the young people. And that's why you are supposed to take advantage of time to do research before you do a business. Any kind of an investment that you want to do, it is your duty to do that particular research. If you want to do farming, don't just dive into farming. Don't just take look at farming, probably someone has done some very good job and you think it is just out of nowhere. Those people sat down, they came up with strategies, plans, and they planned everything. And they took time, talk to them. And research is all about, it's not about books, it's not about all about internet, it's even talking to people who have done similar activities that you feel that you want to do. If you want to do farming, you go approach people who have done farming. If you want to do production, you go and approach people who have done production. If you want to probably you want to do videography, photography, video editing, graphics and design, and so on and so on. You go and look for those people who do those things. Ask them, sit down with them. You can buy buy them a cup of tea and something for you to create time for you so that you can also be able to learn. So research is a package. It's not about using your phone, using your laptop in the house. Of course, you have all that. It's not about just reading books. No, it's even about talking to people physically so that you can understand. You can have a deeper understanding of what you want to do, or the business or the investment that you want to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, time to do research is very important. Aged people don't have that time, but people, young people, 45 years and below, you have that time to do research. Now, you also have time, ladies and gentlemen, to try new things. Trial and error. Now, you have time to try new things. You have time to, let me start this business, it fails. You start another one, it fails. That is all. That is the uses. Now, that is how you're supposed to use time. So that by the time you are starting a business, then it fails, it doesn't fail just like that. There is something that you have learned. If it fails, then there is something that you have learned about that particular business. Oh, this area is not suitable for this particular business. I think this particular business is more suitable in Nairobi than compared to Nakuru. You went to start that particular business in Nakuru and you realized hii inaweza fanya tu Nairobi. Nakuru it cannot do. Because remember, when we talk about businesses, just to give an example of a business, when we talk about trial and error, or trying new things, they failing and some of them succeeding. Let's take an example of a business. There is somewhere you can start a business, it's not going to pick, it's not going to do. So you have to do research again on the kind of business that you want to start in that particular area or that particular geographical location, because it's going to affect. For example, if it's about a business to do with kids, you have to check whether you have kids in that geographical area. If it's a business to do with Islams, you need to check whether you have what is the target population in that geographical area. And therefore, we are talking about trial and error. You might start a business in an Islam populated area, and the target population was non-Islams, and therefore that business is not going to succeed. You get what I'm saying? So, ladies and gentlemen, trial and error. Make sure the failure does not leave you like that. It leaves you with experience and something you know that you didn't know. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, time to do research, time to do trial and error. Then, ladies and gentlemen, young people, you have time to learn skills. Learn skills. You have time to learn skills. I cannot approach a 60-old man or a 60-old woman and tell them to learn skills. Probably there are some of them who like learning, but it doesn't fit them so much, because those people probably they have already invested. They are managing their businesses. They are looking. They are just supervising. But a young person like 20 years, 25, 27, 30, 35, even 40s, you still have room to learn some skills. You can still learn some skill like video graphics design. You can learn some skills and so on, and probably see whether you can create another source of income. So, ladies and gentlemen, learning skills is another advantage where you can take advantage of time and learn skills instead of just staying like that. So time is of essence. It is something that you're not supposed to underrate. It's something that you're not supposed to it's very sad that a lot of young people are wasting their time, or they are utilizing their time doing some other things that cannot even add value to their lives. And it's very sad that when you become old, that is when you realize that there is some few years that you wasted back then, and you could have utilized them to do the right thing and, of course, create a very good financial journey. So, ladies and gentlemen, take advantage of time. Make sure you utilize your time. It is a great resource, and once wasted, it can never be recovered. So, utilize your time doing some good research, doing some trial and error. Start a business, let it fail. Even if it fails, don't worry, don't panic. That is how the life is. Go to another. Do not give up. Maintain consistency, and therefore you are going to make it in life. In one way or the other, you are going now to identify something that now belongs to you. Because if you don't do trial and error, then if you don't risk, because trial and error, it's all about risking here. When you go to farming, you are risking. When you say, let me start a poultry farm, you are risking. Now the poultry farm is not doing well here. Probably we have some harsh conditions, nini weather, and so on and so on. And then you say, let me now start photography. I'm not like you see challenges here and there, and then you realize, what about if I try this? And then you come to realize, now this is what the thing for me. So, ladies and gentlemen, trial and error. Use your time to do several things. You can also use your time to travel or explore. Why do you travel or explore? The reason why you're going to travel from one place to another, to move from one place to another, even if you're not moving outside Kenya, you can also move within Kenya, but make sure you go to Mombasa, see what those people do, go to Kisumu, see what those people do. You can go to Nakuru, and so on and so on. The reason why you're doing this, so that you can gather ideas, because once you stay in Nairobi or in your home area, you're not going to have any ideas, because ideas are going to come out of exposure. The exposure that you have in your life is the one that is going to determine the kind of ideas that you might go to Mombasa and identify. Oh, this one does not exist in Nairobi. I'm going to create something like that. If you go to Nakuru and you realize, oh, people in Nakuru do not know about Uji Power, and then you say, I'm going to introduce Uji Power in Nakuru. Such kind of things. So, ladies and gentlemen, use your time to research, use your time to do trial and error, starting something and trying new things in life, and so on and so on. Learn skills, travel and explore as a tool to get good ideas. Now, that is the first thing, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about strength. Now, this one is as simple as saying it. That is, strength is when you have the capability of doing something in terms of. Now, when we talk about strength, we are talking about two things. Number one, we are talking about strength of mind, and number two, strength of the body. Now, when you talk about strength of mind, it's when your mind is still working very well. You are not tired. A young person is not so much exposed to a lot of problems, and therefore your consciousness is still upright. Your conscience is not corroded with a lot of failures and so on and so on. If you compare someone who has 60 years and someone who is 20 years or 25 years, those are two different people. The 60 years person knows a lot of things, have gone a lot of problems, and therefore their mind is, it's occupied with a lot of things. But at 25 years, but nowadays it's very funny. You might find that it's vice versa. Actually, the person who is 60 years, the mind is sober, they are relaxed. But someone who is 25 years, they have got a lot of problems. This person has been broke. Do you know the reason why? It's because of you. You are bringing yourself those problems. It's not because of the situation. No, you chose to bring yourself those. Probably a young lady who is 22 years, it wants to force issues. You want to become rich, and therefore you bring a lot of yourself to problems. You go look for babas, they disappoint you. Boyfriends disappoint you. You want to try this, you want to own a Mercedes Benz, you do stupid things, and therefore by the time you are 25, your mind is exhausted. You are not thinking. You are saying that marriage is scam, and then you went to be married by older people than you, and then your mind is, you see, But the reality is, a young person, even at 35 years and below person, your mind is still sober, conscious, you're still thinking straight, you are focused because there is something that you are chasing after. But a 60-year-old person is relaxed because probably they have achieved what they wanted in life. Probably right now they are just supervising, they have the investments, they have the businesses, and so on and so on. Therefore they don't want to think a lot of things, their time of thinking is gone. But you are 20 years and now you are saying that you are done thinking, life has just become, and you are 25 years, you are 30. What are you saying? You know, it's very funny, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why people are behaving nowadays like that. So strength of mind at 20, 25, 30, 35, even 40 is your time now to think straight, to observe things, see what you can do, try new things, and so on and so on. Don't use your energy in unnecessary things, ladies and gentlemen. Do not use your energy, use your time in those things that are going to add value to your life. Now, strength of the body is now what we call the strength itself. You see, a 70-year-old person, a 60-year-old person, in most cases, they have drained their strength, and therefore they don't want to do hard jobs and so on and so on. Huyu mtu hata ukimwambia aende mjengo, it's very hard for them. But young people at 20, maybe ndo umemaliza campus, still before hata upate job poa, you're still saying that I don't have strength to do this. I don't know how parenting is nowadays, because you see young men cannot even lift 20 kgs. I don't know, something like that. So strength of the body, you have the strength, you can even beba something from one place to the other, and so on and so on. It's not all about doing those hard jobs, but even the strength that calls for you to do other things. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we talk about strength of the mind, strength of the body. All right, and the last one, about we are talking about time. We are talking about strength, and the last one is information. Ladies and gentlemen, when you talk about information, is the resources. Now, this information, do not take it directly. Try to translate it in an indirect manner. For example, when you talk about information, think of where the information is coming from. For example, people between age of 20 to 45 years, you have a lot of access to internet. We have social media. For example, social media such as TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and so on and so on. Now, you realize there is a lot of internet connectivity, and therefore, anytime you need a certain information, you can easily get it. And therefore, it's not like at those times whereby information to find information, to get information was not that easy. But now you realize people between the age of 60 to 75, they're not even so much into these things, the internet and so on and so on. They have already achieved their things. But at this particular age, you need internet because of how the generation is, the technology and so on and so on. The timing of times, I think something like that. Social media, a lot of you see the Gen Zs and the millennials now. Right now we are operating through social media like TikTok and so on and so on. For example, if people are doing businesses in TikTok, a lot of people are selling products through TikTok, and therefore someone who is Mombasa can buy from Nairobi without even traveling. You just call that person, hey, I saw you advertising so and so and so. Oh, this one is so advertising something like a camera. You call that particular person, where are you located, and then you go there through that social media. So therefore, social media actually is very important at this particular time. And therefore, I'm urging the young people to use social media in the right way, to monetize social media. Don't just go there appear naked so that people can follow you. I don't know what you are chasing, but just use it in the right way. For example, to sell products, to sell your services, to say what you normally do, like for example what I'm doing here, and so on and so. I'm just coming to tell you, my name is Sir John Mwere. I'm a professional accountant. I do accounting, I do counseling, I do financial education, and so on and so. That is how you're supposed to use social media. And probably someone is going to be interested with what you do. They are going to approach you, and due to that exchange, you get some money. So internet, social media. We also have AI tools. AI tools. Tools, just an example like ChatGPT. ChatGPT You can Google anything there. You can even tell it, create an image of me cooking chapatis and so on. And you just need to upload some few photos of you so that they can be familiar with your face. And then it's going to create something like that. Create a video of me farming somewhere, very dirty. You see, when you want to these are tools to enhance creativity and so on. They are not just here to replace the human nature and so on, but they are just here to make our work easier. It's something that can even create a simple logo for you. So you must kuzoea kutumia hizi vitu, AI tools, such kind of things, so that you can be able to make your work easier as a content creator also, and so on and so on. So information, internet, social media, AI tools, you also have gadgets like phones, laptops, and anything that you need to access information, ladies and gentlemen, is readily available for you. So these are the three great things or assets, let me call them assets or resources, that you can utilize them, monetize them, don't take them for granted, but the moment you use them in the right purpose, then they are going to make sure that you have a very good financial life. And by the time you are reaching your 60s, not even 60, by the time even you are 45 years, you already have what you wanted. By the time you are 45 years, you have like 10 businesses managing, and then you don't even have to struggle a lot to look for money. Remember, the ultimate goal is financial freedom, and that is what everybody is looking for. So ladies and gentlemen, time, strength, information, be very careful about those three things. All right, now that was my time. My name is Sir John Mweri, professional accountant with X-Finop Accountancy and Insurance Consultancy. Make sure that you follow me, subscribe, hit the notifications bell, and put a comment on the comment section. You can also share this video so that you can get our community educated. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next. Stay liquid.